we need to start with the national champion LSU Tigers because people are not giving them any credit. People are saying they're going to suck. People are saying they've lost everyone. Last I checked, they still have Derek Stingley, and also they have Bo Pelini, who, if you just have Bo Pelini and Ed Ogeron in the same room, the testosterone in that room will beat most teams. But how do you feel? Yeah, how do you feel about the Tigers this year? And are you buying they've lost everyone, it's not going to be a good team?
No, they haven't lost everyone. That's the thing. They did lose a bunch of good players, but you have to remember with LSU, it's sort of a rite of passage. I mean, in the latter day Les Miles era, they were losing sometimes double-digit guys to the NFL. So it's not like this program hasn't had to do this before. Yeah, it's a lot. You lost the Heisman Trophy winner. You lost the Biletnikoff winner. You lost about 5 first-round draft picks. I mean, it's tough. But they do have some really good players coming back because they recruited well. You look at Ed Orgeron. I take that Mississippi State, the fact they're playing them is a pretty good little benchmark because Ed Orgeron's first full season in 2017, they go up to Starkville. They just get their butts kicked. They were terrible. Their defensive line basically had 3 healthy defensive linemen by the end of the game. You'll be able to see how deep their recruiting has been in the last few years because they're going to roll out a 2-deep defensive line that they feel very comfortable with. You know, they've got great receivers like Terrace Marshall. They've got a freshman named Eric Gilbert who people are already talking about. Maybe, they're saying he's the best high school tight end they've ever seen because he wasn't really even a tight end. He's more of a wide receiver. So he's kind of got like Megatron size and speed. Ed Orgeron did not want to put that on him when he got asked about it today. But he does have that skill set coming in, and he's starting right away at tight end. Jabril Cox, who played linebacker at North Dakota State last few years, he's playing his last year at LSU. So, I mean, they've got talent. It's not like they're going to fall off the map. The problem for them, I think, is people are looking at Alabama, and they basically got everybody back and then got some more. And so I think they're just looking at, hey, Alabama's going to be really, really good this year. So can LSU possibly match that? I don't know if they can. But will LSU be good? Will they be interesting the entire season? Hell yeah, they will.
So what is the strength of this LSU team going to be? What's their identity going to be?
I think it may start out with being a better defense than an offense. I mean, last year that offense was so good, and there were games where the defense didn't quite have their best game. Like Grant Delpit was hurt a lot in the middle of the season, and the defense kind of suffered a little bit during some of those games. Like Alabama should not have been that close. Ole Miss in the second half, John Rice Plumlee ran all over them. But then you saw everybody got healthy. They were much better as the season went on. They were really good against Georgia, really good against Oklahoma, and Clemson's offense, they shut them down like nobody had. So I think defensively they're going to carry him at first, but I don't think it's going to be a drop-off all of a sudden back to the dark ages offensively for them. They kept Steve Ensminger, the unsung hero, and I know you guys talk to Coach O all the time, and I'm sure he's told you this, but Steve Ensminger was the offensive coordinator last year. Joe Brady got a lot of the credit and deserved a lot of the credit, and now he's off to the Carolina Panthers to be the offensive coordinator. But Ensminger, for a guy who's been doing this his whole life, he was calling plays when Joe Brady was in elementary school. He said basically, hey, Joe, you're coming in, teaching me the Saints offense. I'm going to listen, and I'm going to help you learn how I call plays. And they were a great team. Now they bring in Scott Linehan, it's like the complete opposite. Ex-NFL coach, he'd been an NFL head coach. He's going to learn from Steve Ensminger. I think their offense is going to be pretty good still. I don't think it's going to suddenly slip back into the offense they played every year toward the end of Les Miles, beginning of Ed Orgeron, where we're like, oh, come on. Are they ever going to throw to the tight end? Are they ever going to do this? Are they ever going to go up tempo? I think those days are over. I think they realized, hey, this works. We're going to keep doing it.
I like Miles Brennan too, just because I read the story actually on The Athletic that he's never been to a movie theater. So I was like, okay, instantly, this is a football guy I can get behind, which is just a weird fact.
I just like to save money, even though, it comes from the Brennan family, Dickie Brennan Steakhouse and all that. But yeah, why spend all that money at the movie theater? It's coming out on HBO eventually.
Exactly. All right, so that's LSU. We're gonna. I don't even want to talk about Alabama. They're fucking good. Like they're gonna be good. They're gonna be great.
They are.
Whatever. Especially, actually, here's my one Alabama question. How scary is it knowing that Nick Saban was like scorned last year. The Alabama that doesn't make the playoffs, a revenge Nick Saban, that has to add a little extra fear to all the SEC opponents knowing that he's out for blood.
I don't think Nick Saban changes it all. That's the thing. It's what he makes them do is easier when they haven't just won.
Yeah.
He likes to win, don't get me wrong, but he hates right after they win because everybody gets fat and happy, and he's trying to tell them, hey, you got to think about the next rep, think about the next play. And they're like, we just won a national title. We're not thinking about that. And so when he comes off these years where they're not happy, and then look, they beat Michigan in a bowl game, but they were not even in New Year's Six bowl. That's not good enough for Alabama. So, yeah. It makes all that other stuff easier. It makes all those off-season workouts, he doesn't have to light the fire under them. It's already there. It also doesn't hurt that they have guys like Evan Neal, who's like 6'7", 350, and they posted a video of him with these like 24-inch, jump bags, and he's jumping up and doing a split squat on him at 350 pounds.
Jesus.
It's just not fair.
He's jumping out of a
really
pool, though. I'm not impressed until he jumps out of a pool.
He can do it. I will get. And they got the strength coaches that one of the strength coaches has a PhD. He's a doctor now.
Yeah,
so
that's scary.
They're going to make sure he gets that out of the pool jump and then explain the physics behind it.
You are right that I always heard that the worst week of practice for Alabama is not the Iron Bowl. It's not the SEC championship. It's like when they play Western Kentucky and Nick Saban.
It's Charleston Southern, totally.
Yeah, and gets on their ass and knows that he's got to motivate them to play a team they're going to kill 100 out of 100 times. So that's basically Alabama's whole season.
Yeah, that was their entire offseason, and that's going to be exactly what their season will be because they didn't get where they were going to go. Because, Saban says it, nobody believes it, but I promise it's true. They don't talk about winning the national title. They never do. Their whole thing is, how are you going to dominate this next thing you got to do? And it's the biggest cliche thing. We're going to take it one game at a time, one play at a time. But they actually break it down to one rep at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's sick. And no human being normally thinks like that, except maybe Nick Saban. But he gets them all thinking like that. And when they all are, it's tough because they really don't care who they're playing. It doesn't matter. They're just I got to be better than the rest of us, which at this point, that's pretty good.
But perhaps Nick Saban might have taken it a little bit easy on himself this offseason because he did, in fact, have an extra 2 weeks of recruiting because he didn't have to go to the national championship game. I know that really pisses him off every year.
Slacking.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got those 2 weeks in the bag, might be getting fat and happy.
Let me ask you one last question. It is the beefy question. Go to butcherbox.com/PMT to receive quality meats delivered to your door now. I did the beefy question for you, Andy. You are a famous eater. I think I could say that because you're in good shape. So it's not a mean thing to say.
I am beefy. No, and look, I'm still a little fat. I started intermittent fasting in January and lost 40 pounds, but I still eat the same amount in one sitting.
Well, you can use the Paul Chris line that was said earlier today. He's got a hint of fat ass. That's what he called himself when he was asked.
Oh my God!
You didn't see that?
Put that.
He said,
I stitched that into a pillow. I'm going to put that on my couch.
Someone asked him about the sweatshirts he wears, and he's like, well, when you got a hint of fat ass like me, you can't wear anything too restrictive around the neck. So
that's perfect.
Yes.
That is perfect.
Yes.
And from the man that came up with turnover chain,
yeah.
Because he made sure to put his hand over his mouth.
Didn't swear.
His mom would have been very upset. So my last question was this slate this Saturday. Give us a side or whatever total, whatever, or maybe even just a team you're looking for that's going to be people are doubting that you're looking to have a good game on Saturday.
South Carolina against Tennessee. I don't know why. It's one of those things where you could give me 98 different possible outcomes of that game. I would believe every one of them. Every one of them would seem credible and plausible to me. So I'm saying South Carolina against Tennessee.
Okay, so that's
they're going to surprise some people with their long-haired QB.
All right, I like that.
I love it.
Can you give me over/under on LSU Mississippi State? This will be the Staples lock.
I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as we think. I am going to go 71.5.
That's what you're guessing, or that's what you're saying it's going to be?
That's my guess.
It's like 56,
I'm just getting,
so take the over.
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, they're thinking these offenses won't be ready.
Yep.
I'm thinking these offenses will be ready.
Okay.
But I think LSU's offense would be a little bit more ready, and LSU's defense is gonna make some stops. And maybe it's a little like the Ole Miss game for LSU last year, where there's a bunch of points in the second half that don't necessarily affect the outcome.
Yeah, that pissed me off. I was heated
sure
up.
it did.
Because I mean, if you were betting on LSU every game last year, you were making money. Like, it was hand over fist.
And then John Rice Plumlee just starts mowing through everybody.
That was an awesome game for the live over.